My name is Charles Hinsley, and I respectfully ask for your indulgence for just a few moments as I share with you a poetic message regarding our American Republic. But before I share that message, I will provide you some context. The founding principles of our democracy are being challenged by a sinister and threatening force in America. And we are embarking on some very dark and grave times in our nation's history. But as dark and as grave as these times are, I wish to remind you that we have been here before. In February 1818, Frederick Douglass was born as an enslaved black Negro child in the northern state of Maryland. He gained his freedom at the age of 20 when he escaped from the barbaric cruelty of his slave master. He later became one of the leading voices in the 19th century for his fearless and bold advocacy against slavery and for his unwavering fight for the freedom of all slaves and their human dignity. On June 5th, 1852, at the age of 34, 9 years before the Civil War began, Douglass delivered a 4th of July Independence Day speech to the Rochester's Ladies Anti-Slavery Society. This was a small group of white women who had organized their efforts to fight against slavery. Their position was that slavery is an evil that ought not exist and is a violation of the inalienable rights of man. Douglass titled his speech, "What to the Slave is the 4th of July?" A very scathing question in his day, and a very poignant question now. His speech boldly criticized the hypocrisy of celebrating American independence while simultaneously upholding slavery, arguing that for enslaved people, the 4th of July represents not a day of freedom, but a day that starkly reveals the injustice and cruelty they endured under a nation that claimed to value liberty and freedom for all. He directly confronted his audience with the blatant contradictions between their professed ideals proclaimed in the Constitution versus the reality of slavery in America. He vehemently condemned the hollow words between America's founding principles and the inhumane institution of slavery. Douglass expressed deep reservations that Independence Day was not a day of celebration for enslaved people, but rather a day for America to examine the fallacy of her words professed in the principles of their founding document, and in essence, he dared white America to examine the true content of her character. He also challenged white America to read the United States Constitution not as a pro-slavery document, but as a glorious liberty document, a document that he revered as an emancipating affirmation of freedom for all men. And he concluded his speech with a very profound declaration, and I quote, "This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn." In keeping with the spirit of Douglass's message, I will share with you a poem that was originally written in 1976 by a spoken word artist named Jean-Claude Toran. With Mr. Toran's express permission, I have the great privilege of reciting his poem with my own variation of it to once again confront and challenge America in 2025 regarding her continued hypocrisy of her promises to provide justice, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all. Because I too, like Frederick Douglass, still mourn today. I call my version a 4th of July message to America, 400 years. And I recite this poem in honor of and in tribute to Frederick Douglass and Jean-Claude Toran. I am the Millennium Poet, here to speak the truth so that our sons and daughters will know it. America, 400 years has come to pass, and deep within my soul are some questions that I must ask. I did not come to spoil this great and happy party, and I ask for your forgiveness if my laugh is not loud and hearty. But I will make myself at home, and I will not be abowed, for I would not be here at all, America, had it not been for your forefathers 400 years ago. 400 years ago, I stood upon a stage, that one across the waters, with another father's son and another mother's daughter. Oh, this one is tall and thin, but he cannot read or write. 8,000 is the bid for him. I think that price is right. 400 years ago. But now, all that is through. And in this year of 2025, how much am I worth? And to whom? And to whom? And to whom? For I was once a child of the valley, just as lost as I could be, when the Lord came down and he laid his hands on me. And it was on that day that I trembled, and it was on that day that I cried, when he led me out the valley and up a mountainside. And on my face and knees I fell, and God said, son, stand up, and what you see, you tell. He showed me houses made of stone, and he showed me houses made of clay. And he showed me that all things made by man are soon to pass away. He said, behold the mountains, and behold the land and sea. He said, behold the heavens and the earth, for they all belong to me. He said, behold my blessed son, now go back down into the valley and say that God and man are one. America, 400 years has come to pass, and deep within my soul are some questions I must ask. What are all these weapons for? What are all these weapons for? Fighting is for him who is too weak to think. So please take your guns and your weapons, and in the water let them sink. And let there be a song to sing that there is no slave and there is no king. For slave and king are one, and God is all that matters when the matter is said and done. For there is no slave and there is no king. Let this be our song to sing. And I can sing you songs. I can sing you songs that have been sung for so long. I can sing you marching songs. We shall overcome. I can sing you love songs. Swing low, sweet chariot. I can sing you moaning songs. I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? I can sing you many songs. I can sing you songs that have been sung for so long. I have seen the shouting squire from 400 years ago, and he said, what did those men learn? And what do these men know? America, 400 years has come to pass, and deep within my soul are some questions I must ask. How much did you lose, and how much did you earn? I know of all of your evil, but how much did you learn? 400 years, 400 tears, 400 wars, 400 swords, 400 years of greed and lust, 400 years of in God we trust. America, behold your blessed child, a long ways from the Nile. Oh, I do not wish you ill, but I wish you well, and I wish you change before we all die in hell. 400 years of liberty? Do not speak to me of liberty, for liberty is not on earth, and not a man knows liberty if he has suffered birth. So please, do not speak to me of liberty, for there is no such thing on earth as thee. For God reached out his holy hand, and he caused confusion in the land. When? Back then. Why? When they built that tower to the sky. Now you know I do not lie. So please, do not speak to me of liberty, for there is no such thing on earth as thee. And do not speak to me of justice, by which men boast and bow. For if that justice came to earth, where can we find it now? I said, if God's words didn't make you feel, then speak to me of dreams, for only dreams are real. I said, speak to me of dreams. I said, speak to me of peace, and gather up your sticks. And let this be a year of truth, and a year of love, and a year to grow in 2025. For I am the Millennium Poet, here to speak the truth so that our sons and daughters will know it. Is there a celebration in the nation? Did I hear a word called proclamation? Is this a celebration that I see? Why are all the people dancing? Are there any people free? My name is Frederick Douglass, and in my soul, my God lived with me. 400 years has passed, America. I was born with the right of my humanity. My name is Harriet Tubman, and I brought my people to the promised land. 400 years has passed, America. What do you not understand? My name is Paul Lawrence Dunbar. And when the slaves began to sing, I cried for love, and I cried for peace to come on earth with wings. My name is Marcus Garvey, and I brought my freedom sack, 40 acres and a mule, with a proclamation pack. And my name is Martin Luther King. And my God gave my soul a dream. 400 years has passed, America. What did my bloodshed mean? Is there a celebration in the nation? Did I hear a word called reparations? Is this a celebration that I see? Why are all the people dancing? Are there any people free? I wear the chains that my forefathers wore, but the shape, it is not the same. And they wore them in their sorrow, and they wore them in their shame. But now, today, it is a different story, and I wear the chains that my forefathers wore, but hallelujah, I wear them now in glory. Is there a celebration in the nation? Did I hear a word called salvation? Is this a celebration that I see? Why are all the people dancing? Are there any people free? For I am the Millennium Poet, here to speak the truth so that our sons and daughters will know it. For God gave me the job. Is there a celebration in the nation? America, 400 years has come to pass, and deep within my soul are some questions that I must ask. Is there a celebration in the nation? Or is there a revolution in the nation? A revolution in the nation? A revolution in the nation?